It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. Hi, it's Pat. Good morning. I would like to hear that music. I cannot agree with the raised eyebrows anywhere in this country, and I cannot agree with their trying to think incontinence and waste my day on that. When I don't have incontinence, automatically I do not agree with any of that. I want my parents' marriage. And that is where it's at. I want my own parents' marriage. The only compromise I make is if I had to go to a dinner party. I'm not much for large parties. I hate it. Dinner party, okay. I can make those compromises. I can make it on interest. I cannot make it on the theater. I cannot make it on the music. The young are writing unbelievable music. It is cut off on my laptop. I cannot say yes to abuse of have a nice day at all. Now, I respect the answers. I wait on that Stephen Kotler. I do want an answer on that. Forgive me on that. This is my apartment. No matter how we meet on this, I accomplish nothing. I am the never was. And I don't want to be that because I never should have been that. That is my constant agony. And I will not harm those who are accomplishing something. You're young. You have a right to. Now, there's a waitress I would have had your mother talk to. And then I'd have gone home and had a heart pain because no male has acknowledged this. And I can't stand anybody with that eyebrows at all. And I don't want to hear it. I respect the Social Security. I do not feel for their horrible behavior anywhere. It's wrong. It's driven wrong. My father, it is Ellie who messed this up. And those two boys, Podrazas, have to deal with me at some point in time. It's wrong. Those were all good men, and so wasn't Mary defending some prisoners. Dad used to worry about her. I loved the Podraza family. I see her as a betrayal and Joanne. I don't want him. Somebody on the news is telling me out loud to break. Why would I want to break when I spent my whole life breaking due to their behavior anyway? I spent my whole life driven nuts due to how they view that subject matter. I'm kind. The only thing I would have addressed out loud is my family and my philosophies. I do feel I made a mistake on that in here, but I do not understand what went on in here in the first place. Who is helping me is that says 71 every day, and that helps me. I don't know who's responsible for that. It's been years that it has not been running correctly. There does have to be a rule about those bugs, I'll tell you. I have my son check underneath it. He did try, Jay did, on that mess. And that stuff, if it doesn't bother me, is not going to kill him anyway. Don't know what he's on. But if I survive that smell of that stuff, anybody can survive it. I'm going to tell you, if I didn't have that hot spot in here, we wouldn't have survived anything. It would have been rampant. And I really am tired of somebody telling me to break. I feel that individual is very dysfunctional, wherever he is, whoever he is, and the literal connections in terms of that situation. I don't know what to say to you, but I know that I can't memorize lines, but but I could sit and listen to the piece, how it's written, how I would work it, how I would do that. Literature-wise, I would discuss that. I can feel that I can do that. Whether I could write music or not, I don't know. But do I understand music? Yes. And I understand whether it's good stuff or not. Yes. And I did play piano, I'd say, effectively. I don't know what happened to those who defended me anyway. And I do feel I would have had defense on that, and I resent it that it was never said. Or if it were, it was submerged. I don't like it. This is my home. It has to begin here. That son has to understand that. And I really do not like any dirty let-all, period. There was never the situation of choose a field. That is what I would do. I can't memorize. I couldn't when I was a child, but I used to play the piano when I understood the music. I'm going to tell you, I can do that. A branch, I think I could have handled that also. Not as fast with the cash. I'm not Slippery Finger Joe or something, whatever we want to call that. I could have done that. Trust department, yes, and understand operations, yes. I could have been in the counseling industry, yes. Psychotherapy, yes. I would have run a dating service my way, yes. Very few in it. Only me, an excellent systems person. And one-on-one, I dealt with a female on that, yes. And I'm going to tell you, that is exactly what I would have done. And I would have taught a course in school regarding practicing. I could not, because they wouldn't have allowed it, because I understood my mother. I wasn't licensed. I feel all of the above. Music, yes, I would have been literally at least karaoke or singing with a group. And I would have taken violin. I would have talked to my grandfather in Texas on how he understood how to play by ear. And I would have done that. I took piano 11 years, and who didn't say that from behind? I would have done that and been within the music sector also in some fashion like yourself. I would have taken singing lessons. I enjoy it. Today I at least got one song sung. They even cut off my music. Those are all of what I feel I had some ability in. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not taking a back seat anymore on their insults. That could have been done. I don't know what is rectifiable. And even with homeopathic, naturopathic also, when I got the counseling degree, I was going to have a psychiatrist as consultant and do that myself, even if it were a master's. I feel I had the capacity in all of those fields, and I am not going to be arrogant. Never was. And boy, I don't want to hear any more denigration, period. You have a beautiful day. That's my strong way of it. It's Pat. One other thing on this subject matter, that Hulu is still no good and wrong. Anybody who goes against me at this point is ridiculously off. Now, if that's correct, fine. But I'm going to tell you one thing on this subject. I shouldn't be prevented from singing either. I know my shortcomings and my strengths, and I should have been able to have done all of them. And I am upset, and I don't want any more harm on somebody trying to run me down through the ground. I'm going to tell you that's how I view it. There is no capacity for me to say yes, except on the increase in Social Security. That is excellent. I don't want to see it at the top. I've been aware of smart females all my life. I am what I told you. Somebody said it a long time ago. And the irony is, I agreed with that individual. But I don't agree that I am responsible for that. And that is where this is at. I am not. I am for my mother. And I know why Art said that. We were in New England. He was the senior male in the family, and I understood him. And my mother said what was the truth, and boy, I didn't want her to marry again. And that is where it's at. And that is how I feel it. I had to make an analysis on whether a military should marry again. What age, if the spouse he loves. Army wives, I was not the one in the communications industry on that movie. And I had to analyze what age he was. Maybe I have to step back, maybe 50 or something, perhaps. 60, it's getting older. Maybe 50, you can do it again. And I'm going to tell you, it's individual on that, whether the male is able to. I am not standing behind this at all. Yet I was able finally to sing a song at the end of this morning. I've not been allowed to sing either. I can't memorize lines. But I could sit there and discuss the script on how you might direct it and the piece of literature and understand the music and understand how they sing it. Some are trained. Excerpts